Alright guys, let's get this thing started. Welcome. Would watch again. Let's see all we get in here. Got the notifications. I think you guys can see me. We're going to go through quite a bit of things today and try to cut through this and see if you like this kind of format too. We're going to go through pretty much just a range of RX series Polaris cards that we actually have here. We're building a couple different setups right now. We're building a mega rig that has a lot of different cards in it, and just what we could source most recently. Yeah, it's not a new table. I just moved some stuff around. And as we were going through and setting up all these BIOSes on these cards, we were thinking, you know, we should show folks, one, give everybody a refresh opportunity if you have these cards to get kind of the latest straps that we've kind of worked around. You know, we go on the net, look and see if anybody else has found different timings or things that have worked out better. There's a lot of folks that do a lot of hex editing on the timing over time, you know, find better solutions to things. So we try to make sure that we're kind of on the up and up, since we don't have always enough time to sit there and look and research and actually hack at it ourselves too. So we kind of correlated all those for at least the main, like probably 8-10 cards that we're going to go through tonight, and kind of just show you guys a one by one through those. Most of these already have the BIOSes on them. I'll take you guys through kind of how to install the BIOS. That way you have a newer, fresh video of that, and then just kind of show what some of the cards actually can do. You know, with latest algorithms doing dual mining. I have just a PC here that we usually drop we do individual testing with the cards on. Usually if we get a good BIOS and we have several of the same cards, I'm talking like 12 plus, then we'll put them in a rig and we'll just do a deploy through like PowerShell, just to make it quick. But usually when we're testing out to validate that we found a good BIOS that works with the card, and we'll do some longer term testing, we'll throw them in a couple different PCs, let them run overnight, make sure they're stable individually of that particular card, and then make sure that that BIOS looks stable with the memory type and the timings and stuff. And now we're talking mainly AMD cards here, just because you can modify the BIOS and make changes to it. So what I'm going to do is kind of go through each card. We're going to kind of document each of the speeds across a couple different algorithms. That way you guys can kind of see what that BIOS can do. We got the meter on the power. I think I got it kind of set up, but I'm going to try not to move that too often. That way you can kind of get you know, just a baseline of how much power the actual computer that we have, and then you can do some multiplication of what how much power you know, is being used. It's not a one-for-one, i.e. if a card takes, right now the power is setting, like right now on this machine's at 57, 58 at idle. You know, let's say the card takes it up to 150 and it's 100 watts of power. There's a little more power that's also used, so you can't just take that times 6 and that's what your power output is. You also got to take about 30 to 40 watts per card calculation when you're looking at the powered risers too. So just, you know, don't get caught up in some math there and then forget that you're missing a few other variables there. But we're going to start to go through. We're going to start with the Republic of Gaming's, the Strix edition. I don't think I have the original box for this one. It's probably buried in the plethora of card boxes that we have here, but this is the 8 gig model. We'll, you know, I tell you what, we'll get right into this, and I'm gonna switch so you guys can see. Let's see if I gotta set this. I gotta set the Stream Deck. When you're using it with XSplit, it does not. If you take the focus off the Stream Deck, it does not like that. So let's try that. Nope, you don't want to see that one. How about this one? There we go. So I don't have anybody watching the chat right now. Miss BBT will be down a little bit later and check the chat, so I'll kind of try to go over it with you guys. And I'll go through some questions as we kind of get through it. And if you guys look at the description, I have in there when we're gonna test the RX Vega. We finally got one ordered. We'll have one here hopefully tomorrow. I'll start tweeting it when I get there. It doesn't look like right now it followed the hype. I didn't, we just told you to walk softly and caution with the 70 to 100 mega hash. It just didn't look like it was gonna happen. The math wasn't adding up on that, so it looks like it's hitting what we had said a couple videos ago, where it's going to be around 30 to 50 at max potential. That's really modded. If you can mod those, and until I get one here, I'm not going to speculate anymore on what's capable of it until I actually physically have it here, and I should have it here tomorrow. So, if we get into this, we're going to do I'm going to show you guys right now the card that we're talking about right now through GPU-Z. This is a RX480 Samsung memory, 8 gigs. So that kind of gives you a baseline of the card that we're looking at right now. Kind of put that guy here, because I think it's going to be off the screen otherwise. The settings on this. Now this has all the BIOSes. Let me make sure I'm saying this. All of the BIOSes that we're going through tonight, we are making available in the description. I have them all in Notepad ready to upload to you guys. I left them out of there just for people who wouldn't jump ahead and try to load them and then not see how we're doing it and all that kind of stuff. So we're going to put that in there for you guys after the video of all the BIOSes. So you will have access to these, and the BIOSes are going to have all the memory types and all that, so we'll make sure that you guys have that. So don't freak out. You're going to get the BIOSes that we're using here. So this is for the RX 480 Strix 8 gig card. So if you get a chance to get one of these, if you're around it. Now, this BIOS here right now is set to where you don't touch that mem clock. You leave it at 2000. This thing is highly optimized right now for leaving it at stock settings. And it actually will start to artifact if you try to push the memory anymore. And what we're going to show you here is at stock settings how fast this freaking thing is. It's insane. So we're going to launch the Multiminer 5.4. I do have 5.5 still in development, guys. We will get that out as soon as possible with a whole bunch of fixes and other coins. But right now we're using Multiminer 5.4, and I'm going to use option. We're going to Ubiq first. And we're going to choose 33, which is Ubiq coin. Right here. So hodl pull. Enter. We're going to leave it at stock settings again. Actually, I was moving it and stopped it. The script here. 33. Here we go. So you guys will see the performance on this 480, and let me know if the screen's too. If you need a higher resolution, we can do that. Hold pull. We love option 33. I bet you do. So let's take a look at this. 29.4. 29.4 mega hash. You guys can see the power meter. We're at about 150, 160 watts right now on this because we did not touch the core clock. We're going to bring that core clock down. Not bad at all. Let's take another reading. 28.5. It bounced between that and up to 20, almost 29. So we can see the power usage on this is a little high. I mean, for what we come over here to just GPU. I mean, we're at the GPU power draw of 114. I mean, it's not too bad, but still, I mean, you can see the machine's using right now from the kilowatts, using 216 watts of power. Just make sure she's staying stable at that rate. That's fell off a little bit, still 28. We're going to take this down just a hair on the actual core clock and see if we can drop this down some. Let's try 1168 there. Do a -5 on the power limit. See if we can maintain that, and then we're going to jump around to a couple different coins. We're going to try hold it one more time, and then we'll check some dual mining with this. And looks like we dropped it down power-wise. We're down below. We knocked up about 20 watts there. So now we're at 195. We're just under 100 watts on this card now with those drops. Again, not too bad. Looks like it's maintaining right there at 90 watts. Let's go ahead and try. So we're gonna keep a punch list of what the speeds are on these. Now, when I'm doing the dual mining, because it's going to be using the GPU, I get rid of that. You have to get back your GPU power because some of the cycles on the actual dual mine is actually using that GPU. So we're going to go for a little bit of, how about some Ubiq and Crdt 34. And we'll do Ethereum, so don't worry. Getting the rejected share. I think I have like the wrong account information in there for the cred. So essentially, I'm not getting the credit for the work there, but it is showing the performance. If I had my account information in there, we'd be doing a little bit better. My settings are at 30. We could go to about 24 and see what we get there. 26 and 34. We're dropping a little bit. A little bit of performance drop. Again, getting the rejected share on that because I don't think I have the Cred configured correctly in this version of the multi-miner. Let's do some library and here, you know, let's do some, we'll come off of Ubiq. We'll get back up to Ethereum. How about some number 4, 5, 6, and 7. So a little bit of Sidecoin and Ethereum. Again, this is the Asus Strict. Take a little bit of hit there. You could bring down the speed a little bit to get a bump on, we're up to 26 mega hash there with about 500 Siacoin on this. And it looks like we're, power-wise, we're 235, so we're right there sensor-wise, about 124 on this card. And yeah, remember guys, I'm seeing some of the comments. There is a driver update for that DAG issue. So the AMD DAG epoch issue should go away here in the next beta driver. You should be able to get the restore of your card speed. Now I'm doing ETH in this, so we are taking the hit because of the DAG, a limited hit because of the DAG there. This would be about 26 and 500 with, if you were doing something like music or Ubiq coin or expands. Again, not bad performance, 24 and a little over 500 for the strict. Now this is the 480. And the reason why I'm taking this stuff to you guys is because some of this stuff is become available. People are kind of getting out of it that didn't want to be part of it, and those folks that are sticking in for it, that are looking for cards, are just coming in and saying, you know, I'm going to take a chance on this and start doing some mining. You might be able to pick up some of these pretty cheap. Let's go ahead and try number 6. Which this is ETH and Lbry. Again, the baseline on this machine is about 50 or 60 watts. Oh, you guys would be surprised on those Aorus cards. Just hang tight for that one. Looks like we're about 23 and 24 with ETH. On 23 and then 34 with Lbry coin multi-mine, and we're still sitting at 235. With ETH there, 120 watts on the card. Looks like it's spiking to 140 watts on the card. Seems to be a common theme. We'll check just to see the DAG difference between Ubiq being a much lower epoch level. Let's check the same Lbry and Ubiq with a lower DAG. Oh, I don't have the altcoins on that one set up right. We should get the same thing with, or we should. I'm trying music coin. I got music coin set up right there. So music coin again is an Ethereum style fork. Looks like a little more. It's kind of bouncing between 35, 34. Yeah, it's about a mega hash faster. Where we were at 23.3, now we're at 24.9. The intensity, you can lower that down to try to get a better rate. 26 and 30, probably lower it a little lower. 26, 29. I'd probably keep it up a couple, probably 23. Yeah, because you're almost at 26 mega hash using this card. Again, that's 232 wattage. So that's the power draw on the card plus the power draw on the off the board from the PCIe slot. So if you're trying to get the math there, the machine sets idle at 55 watts, and then the card itself is drawing 123 to 140. So that's right at 200, and then your delta that you're looking at of why you're seeing this right here at 237. The difference between that is the power draw from the PCI Express slot to the card. So you got to take all those into account, and then that gives you your full calculation. It's kind of a three-part calculation there to get your power. So that's the strict on those. Let's see. Let's do a couple more things, and then we're going to swap cards. Again, just showing you the 488 gigs are still kind of a boss. I mean, they're decent power usage for what they are, and they still have a pretty decent output. Check 36 Pascal. A lot of people don't mind Pascal. There's some people that are hedging on it, but this is a dual mine proof of work algorithm too. So we're using number 36, I believe, which is Ubiq and Pascal coin, and there's that. So you're seeing takes a pretty hard hit on that. Pascal uses both memory and quite a bit of CPU. We can drop this down and maybe get some more ETH out of this, or more Ubiq speed. Let's drop it all the way down to 19. So we're back up to 24. I would probably drop it down maybe 17. There you go, 25.6 and 400 Pascal at intensity of about 17. So that gives you kind of an idea. A single RX 480, 8 gig with the BIOS that we'll include for this, essentially is giving you 135 plus another 30. So you're looking at about 175 total power draw per card at this rate for the RX 480. When you're dual mining, it's a lot less without dual mining. So again, it's holding that pretty good. We'll see here before we switch that out. So we went through pretty much all the different things there. I want to make sure you can do Sia coin directly. So Sia directly is about 1,000 mega hash. 1,038 mega hash if you just dedicated Sia. So remember, when we were doing dual mining, Sia by itself was running at about 530 mega hash. So you double the hash rate by just mining Sia directly. So I've had a few people ask me that question. Here, I'll type the card. This is the RX 480 Strix Pelican Gaming 8 GB. So that gives you an idea just directly on Sia for this card. I don't think we have any. We have Gigabyte. If we have the Gigabyte, looks like about 1.8 mega hash, 2 mega hash. I don't know if that's fully right though. We'll have to check that because this thing is not taxing the GPU at all. It's using a whopping 4 watts of power. We'll have to check the Gigabyte one there, because it is not taxing the GPU at all. And last but not least, we'll do this, see if it's actually going to run right, which is XMR. Let's see if we just get a pull, pro pull. It's encrypting the connection. And there we are. So XMR 866 hashes. So about as fast as a Ryzen 7 1800X. 860 hashes on at 112 watt usage. So a lot less power usage on that. About 35 watts or so. And 866 hash. So that is the Strix. And we're going to swap this out. And what we're going to do is go through, a handful of other cards, and we'll make sure that the BIOSes are available to you guys. When I'm swapping this out, I'll switch back. And I'll try to review some of your guys' comments here. Again, I'm running kind of solo tonight on this. I don't know if in your neck of the woods, but in our neck of the woods, it's kids go back to school, so I am kind of running this while Miss BBT kind of keeps that, and everybody else is kind of busy with kids and stuff too. So show must go on though, right? So this is a triple fan setup. Asus Republican Gaming Strix Tri-Fan RX480 8 gig, and it is kind of old faithful there. We're going to jump to the Gigabyte Aorus. I think it's, which box is it? This guy, yeah. So this is the card that we're going to be doing next. Again, we've modified the BIOS on this. This is the 580. This is the 4 gig edition. And dual fan design. It's got a back plate. So it's got a cool little back plate on the back. It's got the copper heat sink popping through on the back. Top part of this thing lights up, which is pretty cool. Has kind of an RGB kind of setup. Single 8 pin. Again, this is a RX580. We'll slap that guy in there. Single 8 pin connector. We'll get this plugged in. And we'll swap back. While these things are booting up, I'll look at your guys' comments. Carter's solo mining tonight. Yeah, that's right, guys. Solo running this. It's got to set the driver up for this. Too many coins, not enough hash power. That's why you got to rotate it some, guys. Let burn some coin, make some coin, make some Saya, make some library, make some Ubiq. Spread it out. The DAG file you do not have to worry about on 4 gig cards, guys. Even with the extension of proof of work, you're talking November of 2018 on the current DAG file. And that's to 3 gig. 3 gigs. November of 2018. So you're fine. Yes, from a resale standpoint, you have a better situation. David, we'll make sure you have when that thing's setting up. Here is the version. right there. And you guys are gonna probably steal my warranty because you guys got my serial number now. It's just one of many cards. I'm not too worried about it. But you see the model number. That's the strict that we just did. All right, I think it's done. I think it's done doing its setup and configuration. We'll swap back. Again, you can see the power in the upper left-hand corner there. The idle speed right now is about 58. Again, this is the Aorus. It's this guy right here. The one we're using. This has the Hynix memory. You can kind of see the settings on there. The base clock settings, the BIOS that we're using. We're going to set this to 1980. Yes, these are 580s and the base memory is not set to 2000. That's a 588 gig. The 4 gigs are set to 1750. We're going to drop this to 1160. We're going to leave the rest as it is. We'll leave the sensor here. Let's use latest multi-miner. We're going to start with 33 first, which is just plain Ubiq. And there we go. So this is a 4 gig model, RX580, the Gigabyte Aorus with the BIOS that we put on there. And this is what you get just on plain Ubiq. Looks like it's holding stable. Unlike that that strict I think settles out with the BIOS that we have on that, settles out at about 27.4. You saw that it started at 29 and then it worked its way down to 27. Where this one's going to stay pretty solid in the 28s from what we've seen. We're at the power usage is pretty close to the same as the previous card. It's actually a little more, I think, on a single on the single Ubiq, where I think the other one was at 205. The dual mining was more like where this is at right now. Again, this is a 580. It uses a little more power. $28. Still holding 28. So we're going to go ahead and try. Let's go through the gambit. We'll go through ETH, which is the number 3. So you saw what it was doing on Ubiq. Again, this I do not have the latest driver, the drivers that fix the DAG issue. We will do that in another video. I was actually waiting to do that with you guys. That way you guys can kind of see what we go through to get that set. So here it is on Ethereum. Holding just a 27. Which right now has the DAG issue. Still not bad. 27, very respectable for 580 with those drivers. Same power usage. So you saw it looks like it drops about almost a mega hash and a half with the DAG piece there. So then let's go and look at how about some I think number 4 was, let's keep it the same. So let's do Ethereum and I think this one's first one's Sia. Yeah, Sia coin. So it's up to 6. Let's go ahead and drop this down to about 23. The 24.5. So it's very close to that 480. Next, probably go down one more. 22. Let's take it down to 21. I like getting Sia to about 500. Let's go to 17. And that drops us to 440. 17 is usually what a lot of people do if they want to keep it on Ethereum, and they'll just take the extra 400 on Sia. You can see the power usage right now being about 20 watts more. Than what the 480 was, so you can understand why people usually were going with the 480s when you're getting close to the same performance. So you're right there at almost 27 and 400 Sia coin on the Gigabyte. Let's do, scroll up. I think the Crdt is got the wrong settings, but we can still see its hash rate. It's just not gonna. Oh no, it's connecting there. It's just wrong on the Ubiq coin. We can bring the Crdt down some. Just bring down the intensity and try to, let's take it to 20, 21 is a good intensity at this. So 26.1 and 550 Crdt. 26.2. And we're still at the same power, about 250 watts on this machine. So you're looking at a 200 watt total power draw on that. A little under, about 195 watts with the dual mining. So again, this is just for baselines. This is for people to kind of go through and see to see what your output is. You know, this is what we're trying to show. If you had this card and you had this BIOS, here's a notional output that you're going to be looking at per card and per power. So you got to minus what that the actual power of the machine is, and then you just take the difference, the total power draw here, plus the power draw from the actual PCIe slot. So the delta is what you're seeing right there, 256. So you're looking at almost 200 watt power draw per card in this kind of scenario. Let's go through. We'll see some ETH and some library. Again, we're just looking at performance across the board with the card. And this is for the Gigabyte RX580 4 gig Aorus. We will be doing the Vega tomorrow. I should get the Vega tomorrow midday. We'll be looking at having an earlier live stream, probably around 4 p.m. Central Standard Time is what I'm going to be aiming for. We're going to drop this intensity down to about 18, Let's see if we can get library in that about the same. Let's go to 21. Let's look at this a little more in the library. Again, about 24 and 27, 28 on library credits. Little less usually on library, about 10 watts difference. So that gives you your baseline there. And then finally we'll do Pascal. Pascal didn't work for Ethereum. I need to do that for Ubiq. It's 36. Again, Pascal's pretty hard on this the actual Ethereum performance. You got to really drop it down to catch it. Make it work through it. We're going to take this down to, I'm just hitting the minus key on the keyboard, take this down. So if you're looking to know how to do that, we're at about 24 and 400 Pascal. So that's kind of your baseline for Pascal if you're going to do some Pascal mining. Again, that's using quite a bit of power there. Now if we go ahead and do I think we did library directly before. Oh, that's the wrong. I think I only did it for CUDA. Let's try 16, number 16, which is XMR for AMD. Now the other card, the RX480, was 866 hashes. Let's see what XMR for. So the 480 actually was performing better than the 580 here, the same setting. So that BIOS for that 480 Strix was a boss. About 140, 150, hell, actually 160, 170 hashes more on the RX 488 gig. Now this is a 4 gig card. Looks like it's holding about 715 hashes on XMR. You know what we didn't do is Zcash. I don't know why I didn't do Zcash on that other. I mean, Zcash isn't superior for AMD cards, but let's do 18. Do some Zcash mining on this. Hey Blueberry, how's it going? Welcome to the chat, buddy. Alright, so we're going to try some Zcash with this RX580 4 gig. And there, folks, is why you guys usually stick to NVIDIA. That's what the output of that is. 306 hashes. 300 hashes on the mark almost for the RX580. And for SIA directly, on the RX480, this was at 1,000. And it looks like we're about the same. It looks like this is a little slower on SIA directly. We're about 1,050. This is a 982, it looks like. So again, the RX480 still holding the lead over the RX580 4 gig. When we get the Vega tomorrow, guys, I'm going to go through the Vega kind of like in the same way here. We're going to try to play with some settings, see if we can optimize it as much as possible, and then we'll take it through the same kind of setups. Now the Gigabyte, I don't know if it's fully accurate because we weren't really seeing a spike in power usage. Matter of fact, it wasn't hardly using any power. Now the RX580 is running a little faster. 2.35. At a whopping 4 watts of power. And here, I'm going to have to do some checking on that. I don't think this is actually working right. And I believe that was it on the that. Again, we'll do Music Coin and then we'll close it. Just basic Music Coin by itself. It should be a lot like the Ethereum speeds. Yep. Ethereum without the DAG issues. 28.2 or 28.4. So once we get the actual drivers fixed with the BIOS changes, then yeah, this will be a pretty decent card. 28.4 mega hash and power usage still setting at, you know, power draw of 125. I think we can get this down some actually. You can undervolt these cards some. I mean, we were letting the power draw here come down a little bit. I can actually take this down to about 1060. And then take this down to a negative, I can take it down to a -8 here. And let's just do that Music Coin again and see what kind of power draw we're talking now. Still 28.2. We dropped 0.2, but we're down a little bit. I mean, we're at 121 power draw right now, plus the 55, which is the board idle with the CPU, which gets us to 170. And then the delta between 170 and what you see on the meter is the total power draw from the slot. So plus or minus 8 to 10 watts. So you're looking at about 45 watts power draw from the slot. So we're at 121. We didn't drop it too much with those changes. I mean, the 580s use a little more juice, but you're at least stable. But these are the settings that we saw that were the best for the card. with this BIOS. So if you're thinking about if you have these cards and you're going to get this BIOS, that 1980, it's a really good. Again, this BIOS does not. If I hit reset, you can see we did not touch the core and the mem. It lets you change that yourself. So let's shut this down. We're gonna go ahead and swap this one out. And this is the card tomorrow, guys, that we're going to do two things tomorrow with the video. The goal tomorrow is this guy right here. You guys can kind of see this dual fan. So this, I have 12 of them back here in this rig right here. So this is actually number 12. So this is going to go back in that rig. And we're waiting for a board to come in. I went through 2 of the TB250 boards. I'm having some issues with that TB250. It's not working right. So I've reached back out to BioStar and let them know some of the issues that we're having. But if you guys are having issues with the TB250, post in the comments below. And we'll get some of that feedback back to BioStar. I have an ASRock 13 GPU motherboard coming because it's ASRocks. I went through about 6 of them now, and every one of them worked out of the box. So I'm having a lot more success with the ASRock boards than I am the TB250 12 GPU boards. Here, let me make sure you guys know which one I'm putting in right now. So here is a quick review of the XFX 570 4 gig. This is the actual. Let's see here. This is the red black edition. I tell you what, we'll just do one of these little things like we did before, where you guys can kind of see. Tilt this guy here. Make sure you can see this part. That is the edition that we're looking at right now. If you can actually see that, let's go this way. That is the version, so you guys can see the exact model that we're talking about. And this is a single 6-pin. Or, sorry, excuse me, it's a single 8-pin connector. And we are going to get this guy plugged in. And again, this is already BIOS modded. All the BIOS mods that we're doing tonight or that have been done on these cards, we're going to have out there for you guys. Yeah, the old TB250s work fine. We have like 4 or 5 rigs with those, and they're fine. But the newer ones are just not. I mean, I've literally went through 2 of them, and it doesn't power on or nothing. Like, you click it, I've changed CPUs, memory, power supplies, just nothing, just dead board, 2 in a row. So again, you guys are seeing this. I wanted to make sure you guys knew that these are fresh cards. I mean, we modded these cards, but these are fresh to this box here. They're automatically setting up in the background. That way you guys can kind of see that. With the way I like doing stuff, I like to be super transparent with you guys. I want to show you guys kind of the raw state of it. Obviously these are pre-modded. We already pre-modded them just that way I can get through this episode pretty quick. But we're going to make these BIOSes available. And when I get towards the end, we'll just pick one of the cards and I'll show you the deployment of the BIOS and all that. That way some of the folks that haven't seen that can see that in a more recent video. I'm watching the chat. I got the laptop in front of me tonight. That way I could see it. Sean Silver stacking. There's absolutely no real reason to have a 12 or 13 GPU. I had to brag. Your whole rig goes down, and then you're sitting there with 12 GPUs not working to fix your rig. Well, that's called risk reduction of if you have a rig issue. Our rigs, we rarely have issues once they're running, once they've been optimized and stuff. So I'd rather, it's a better cost efficiency. If you're going to do a lot of cards, having one CPU, one motherboard, a pair of power supplies in a single rig, it's just a lot more efficient. So If you want to have the additional cost, it's a math problem. You can have that additional cost of, you know, $450, $500 to just go through all that other, or it's probably not that much, it's probably about $350, because you're buying another board, another processor, another memory. But it's to optimize the entire setup is the reason why they went with 12 and 13 GPUs. So on this, we're gonna, this probably needs the patcher. So we'll switch back to this. The monitor's green because of it goes to the capture card. And the capture card, if it's not getting a full signal, or an actual, the driver set up on the card, it stays green. So we're gonna run the patcher on this. And then we're gonna restart after that's done. And then that should fix that issue. But you don't need a super high wattage PSU for a 13 GPU rig. You can split it across a couple lower end ones. So like the 13 GPU rig that you guys see kind of in the back here is some 1060s. The total power draw on that's about a little under 1200 watts. So it's on a single, it can be on a single breaker. But the 1060 3 gigs don't use that much power. When you have them at power level about 60%, they're a lot cheaper. And if you're paying per rig on like simple mining, it's just another $2 that you save there, which isn't a huge difference. Which driver are we using? It's a good question. Let's look here. We're using the 17.4.4. Let's get back here. So let's bring up the specifics of this one. This is the XFX RX 570 4 gig. You can see that settings there. This has the straps and the BIOS done to it. We're going to drop this down to 1160. And we're going to take this to 1980. I think this one does 1980. We're going to find out. It's either 1950 or 1980. We're going to try the fun and hard way. Start with 33. I'm getting artifacts right now at that, so it's definitely not liking that. Let's try 1900 and I think 1200 on this one. We may need a reboot, but we'll see. There we go. 1900 and 1200 GPU is where we were locked in on this one. So 25.2, not, I mean 27.2, not too bad. I mean, this is the XFX, does have the back plate. Power wise, we're pretty in line with the rest of the cards. 225. It's a little less than what the other one was. Total power draw on this one showing 107, so it's about 20 watts. Getting a little bit of artifacting here. On this particular one, I'd probably actually drop it. I'm going to bring up hardware info here to see if we're getting some errors. I'm going to parse this for a second while it's checking the GPU out. It's probably getting a few memory errors. We'd probably take this down just a hair, a little less. No, we're not going to update you. Let's pull you down. Let's look here. Yeah, it's getting a bunch of GPU memory errors. Let's do a clear. This, I think, has all the yeah, it's dropped it some. What we're going to do is take this one down a little lower. Let's see if we can clear all these errors. That way we can see. I thought I could purge that. Let's keep this guy up. Ah, I could have sworn that left that up. And let's take this down. Yeah, it's still growing and it's not even running. Let's do a restart real quick and check that again. And we'll keep it locked in about just under 1900. This is about a 27 mega hash card. We have a rig of these right now, an 8 card rig running these with this BIOS, and every once in a while we'll see and it's running on simple mining, every once in a while you'll see kind of a memory dump. It doesn't restart the rig or anything, so you could get some errors with this card, but still a very low stell and non-accepted hash rate. We're still under like a 3% with this setting. But I think that first setting when I had it at 1980 really kind of caused it to have some issues. Okay, no GPU memory errors. Let's set this at 1850. I'll still take this to 1160. With a minus 5% there. Let's open up GPU Z. And the sensors. Then let's launch this guy here. I want to see this grid here. Let's see if we get any errors. 26.5. And it looks like we're not getting any errors. So memory errors, none. Total power draw is 100 watts. You can see that on the meter. So mid 26s would really be about the pull on this with no memory errors. If you take it up a little more, probably 1880. Again, I'm just doing hodl pull. It's an Ubiq coin. Yeah, it starts to kind of. It really likes that 1850. You start going a little higher than that, it's not as consistent. GPU should not matter, but on these slower, or on these 4 gig cards, starting to get memory errors at 1880 with the GPU clock up. So we did get one there. So yeah, the lower clock for sure. And you're looking at, you know, what I'd say is with the BIOS guys is I'd pull it down, I'd put it at 1900, and I would see if it's stable. Even if you're getting some memory errors, like in Windows, it's probably going to end up crashing out. In Linux, you'd probably be okay with it. It's okay for us right now on the 2 rigs that we have this card and this BIOS on in Linux. But again, every once in a while we'll see like a general fault protection that does not restart the rig on the memory. Again, less than 3% on the stealth shares. I'm going to set it back to 1900. Test Ubiq one more time, and then we're going to go through the other tests like we've been doing. It's taken it. I'm going to restart it one more time, and then we're going to set it back to that, and we're going to go through all the settings and the speeds that it does. Again, the XFX is kind of the bottom line, or the bottom tier. At least the 570s are kind of more the bottom tier from what we've tested. I mean, these are not saying that Best Buy is a problem, but these are kind of like the Best Buy cards. The kind of look at your guys' chat right now. Oh yeah, no, these like 1900. like that. Boom. And this could be just a card, one of the cards that are meh of the group. And you do have that. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab another one just to show that and see if we have that same problem with another version of that card. These ones are destined to rig. And what we'll do, let's see here. Just take another rando. Again, this is kind of like the silicon lottery too, guys. Like, you get these, you unbox them, you put the same BIOS on them, you make sure that they all have the same memory settings, and you deploy the BIOS to a big group of them. And here, let me switch this back. Well, that's booting. You put this back up here. These ones are going to rigs. And we're gonna try this one. We're going to set this one to 1200, 1900. Here, let's leave that open. Sensors. And try this one. And then again, we might have one that's just a little off. And in that instance, what I would do is, if you have a card that's just not reacting right with the BIOS, take it back to stock. Try some less aggressive settings, and then you're gonna have to manually change the. You can't just push the 1900 to that card. Then it's just not gonna work. And there we go. This one's holding 27.3. So again, both of them were the same memory type, Lbry. But that other card, just, that's, you know, you have to run to the litter. So power-wise, we're at 214. We're at total power draw 103 with the card. So not too bad. Let's do some quick testing on this one. For Saya and ETH. Now this is a 4 gig card, so it's, you know, the 4 gig cards take kind of a beating from the dual mining. They can do it. And you can see there the ETH mount took a hit. We're going to take this down to, let's do 20. So you're right there at on Saya and ETH on this card, and you're pulling more juice, so about 250. card itself is taking about 137 watts, 120, anywhere from 121 to 138. That's what it's kind of doing. Looks like it's holding. Right there, about 25 ETH and 500 SAIA. So really close to actually some of the 580s. Now, you can see the temps at 73. Those other cards were always in the 60s, so these do not cool as well. Trending 5. Oops, not 25 or 52. About 5. So Ethereum and Crdt. Again, the XFX 574 gig is the card that we're looking at right now, guys. So mid-20s, Crt's at 769. Not too bad, actually. Let's take this down just a bit. So 26 and 670. That's actually a pretty decent amount. And that's why a lot of folks do Crdt mining. As you're looking at 24, and this is Ethereum too, so this has the DAG hit because I don't have that driver on there. So 26 and 677 at intensity 26. So 26 flat and 677 at intensity 26. So if we look at what without the hit, let's look at Music Coin and Crdt, which is 46, which I have. Should have close to the same settings, but you're going to get a little more on Music Coin with its, if I have it set up right. 26. Here we go. Yeah, so there's a little more there with the settings. So 27.4 and 714 to Crdt. So about 50 more to Crdt and a 1.4 mega hash more with the drivers fixed. Like once we get on Ethereum, the driver fix. So you're getting a nice little bump on the difference there, and that's why the driver matters to get that installed, especially if you're dual mining. So 27 and some change there, not bad. So these XFX are not bad if you get good ones. It's a kind of a silicon lottery again, like we said. Let's check number 6, which is Ethereum and Lbry on this 570. Let's take the intensity by hitting the minus down to about 24. A little lower. I think we were really doing 24, 18, somewhere like that. 22, 24. Again, you know, you're on the 580s and the RX580 and the 480, they were around 24, 24. Where this is still taking a hit by a couple. And a lot of that has to do with just the GPU. A little less power when you're doing Lbry by about 15 watts. But overall, not too bad. Really comparable performance. Whoops. Not that one. Trying to get through pretty quick. Let's do Pascal I need to do down here. Let's do Ubiq and Pascal 36. Again, just trying to cover the gamut for you guys. And Pascal is pretty intensive, so you need to take this down to about 18 to get any of your. So yeah, you're about 21 and 370 Pascal. So you're at 23 on the 580. So I mean, the 570s take a beating on when doing Pascal with them. Not near as efficient. Try some XMR. $16. What do you guys think the XMR is going to do? So we're looking at 675. So still a little faster than i7. What's the souls on good question. Let's check. Let's try some Zcash performance. Monero, meh. All right, Mark Russell. Thanks for tuning in, buddy. 297 hashes at 95 watts. Let's try some SIA directly. So it's about 200, it's 20% slower than the 480. Holding there at about 800 mega hash. At 238 watts, so you're looking at about 175 watts total. I think that was it. Library directly, or did not have it? Oh, that was the NVIDIA one. All right. So, by and large, not too bad. 27.4 mega hash with that BIOS that we have for this one. Again, if you can get these pretty cheap, not too bad, but you have that risk where you have some of them that are just not going to partake in the event as well, and you're gonna have to downgrade the BIOS back to probably stock, and then go with the less aggressive settings to maintain order. So that's the 570. This is the box for it. I did put the box over here so you guys can see. So this is the RX570 box. It's the RS edition. It's the 4 gig. This is the one that we just did. So RX570 4 gig RS edition. That's the box for it. Let's do another 480 or is this the 580? The 570. I think I have a 588 gig over there too somewhere. RX480 Gaming X. These 570s, I think. So a Gaming X, RX480, single 8-pin also. I believe this is a Samsung memory card. So MSI, and I also have the MSI 570 that we'll be doing here in a second. This is the 570 4 gig Gaming X. And then we have some the XFX 8 gig and then a Strix 570. Let's let this thing get booted up. I think I was using actually this. I was using the adapter. Let's use the HDMI on this. I'm watching a chat here. You guys talking about trading, huh? Yeah, it's got to set itself up. Yeah, anybody that had Neo really got a lift. John Smith, I get the Vega tomorrow. It's actually in my town and it's out for delivery tomorrow. Sean Silver stacking. I'll put all the stats in the bottom of the video. Yeah, tomorrow night's video is gonna have the Vega in it, and you guys are gonna see it. You guys are gonna experience it with me. I'm not going to take it out. I'm not going to pre-do anything. We're going to do it kind of just vanilla. We're going to do it. We're going to get it installed. We're going to learn it together. All right, let's switch this around. We'll open up a little bit of Afterburner, GPU-Z. Yep, Samsung memory. We set this to 2200. What do you guys think this thing's gonna do? Yeah, we're gonna go through all this stuff with Vega, guys. We're going to do the same kind of setup. We're going to test every coin with it. We'll play around with the settings, all that kind of fun stuff. We're going to do that all live. $29.4. I bet you this has more room. Nope. Doesn't like the GPU overclock though. You gotta leave that down. We're gonna go back to 2250 because I think it will do 2250. Does not like the high overclock though on the GPU if you're gonna do that. Now, Vega's BIOSes, our Vega BIOSes are, I don't know if they're encrypted or not, but somebody has to create or fork off the Polaris editor and then write the right code to be able to access the BIOS. Nope. This one doesn't do it. I had a few that could do 2250. We'll try 2225. We had to order our Vega from a supplier, so complicated thing with that is the sending those things back are not that easy. So we'll be keeping our Vega, our single Vega, and seeing how it goes. I'll probably be using it in a production PC actually. versus the video editing machine. Let's see if 25 megahertz matter. It does, but it must be memory erroring like crazy because it's only getting 14. So 2200 it is. I think we're having a 26. Yeah, it's slowly degrading because I think I blew the driver. We'll reboot this one more time, set it to 2150, and then check it. Yeah, so the Vega we got, I didn't even get to see it. They just said the MA Labs is who we order from. They're out of Chicago, and they just said, hey, we got a Vega 64. We paid with overnight shipping. We paid over $700, so we're totally getting kind of the shaft on that one. But they should be $599 for the Vega that we're buying, but we paid like $715, $720 with overnight shipping. Let's see what that gets just by itself. I could have maybe new. Let's do this one. We had this fixed at 2080. Let me make sure this wasn't already pre-optimized. It's a 29 at 2080. Less is more. Cool, 29.3. Check some Ethereum, and I believe this was Crdt, maybe? looks like we blew the driver again. I think that this BIOS that we have on here, you don't change anything, otherwise it destabilizes it. This has an aggressive custom strap on it. And I think the memory timing on this one, if I recall correctly, is too aggressive for you really messing with it. You just take what's there. You get a little over 29 mega hash with that strap, and then the hard fixed memory and clock settings. So we're going to leave it as it is and just do the dual mining testing. So for Saya and ETH, $21,470 at 21 intensity. Oh, let me bring up this where we have the power meter. Sensors 5 should be Crdt. Take that, setting down about 24. 24 and 5, 600. Not too good compared to like that 570. That 570 was doing 27 and 700 when it was doing Crdt with 46. Let's check Music Coin. The last one that we did, it was doing 20. The XFX was doing 27 and 600. It's actually slower than the 570 XFX. But let's look at the afterburner settings real quick. That's 1095. If you're dual mining, you need to have that up. That's our problem. Or 30. No, 46. $24. Still not doing that hot. There's 700 at 24. Yeah, I mean, it's a couple mega hash slower. It's running a lot cooler. And the power's a lot better. A lot better by like 30 mega hash. Or 30 watts. Because I want to say the dual mining on this was actually 240 watts with the 570, and this is running 192, so it's running 114. So the 580 really bringing in the dial back. I rejected shares because I don't have the account set up right. Did not like me shutting that down. It's that overclock. Got to recover the driver. It's that overclock on the GPU. There it did. It reset it. And that's 2080. Should be 2080. Yeah, it's 2080. So it does not like that BIOS setting does not like it messed with. Try side directly. $930. Fetched work there, committed. It's high 800s. So again, that first RX or the Strix 480 still holds the title right now. Check Lbry coin. $28. I mean, I was bringing on intensity a little longer. About 24 and 28. It's still pretty decent power advantage. You can see the difference in power compared to the last few cards if you've been watching. It's 23.8, 28.8 at intensity level 22, 21. Let's go down to 21 and check that. So you're looking at 24 and 27 with Lbry coin. Again, at a lower power usage from a dual mining standpoint. And let's check some Zcash before we shut this one down. $283. So again, that 570 was almost 300 mega hash. So, but that 283 is because the power settings on this is way down, and or the GPU clock is way down. So this build is not, this BIOS build is not optimized for Zcash. That would probably be a little over 300 if we had the clock settings correct for Zcash. So, did we check just ETH? I don't think we did. Let's just do ETH. Yeah, just under 27 mega hash. It's just really showing you the hit that the DAG does without the driver update. Because if we go back to Ubiq, you're at 29.1. So 26, 29 is the difference. And that is the RX480. Now, there's some BIOSes out there for this one. And you can take a look around that you can get this card up over 30, 32, like if you're doing Ubiq. But the problem is I've had that BIOS on a couple of the cards, and I just did not have long-term stability with it. We had to come a little less aggressive on it. Some people have had some pretty good response from that BIOS, but we'll make sure that that BIOS that we had there is uploaded. Again, you don't do anything with that BIOS. You just plug it in and go. The one that we just showed there, because you saw what happened when I started playing with it. It is pre-configured and ready to go. So this is the same as this one, which is this is the RX570. The real big difference between, you can see it's almost the same thickness as the 580 is. The only difference is for whatever reason they got a little cheaper and they did not put the back plate. Where this 480 has a back plate, the 570 does not. They're the exact same everything else. Spec, length. I mean, this card is exactly identical. All the way down, it's the exact same size. It's the same heatsink fan combo. Everything's the same. They just did not include the back plate. This actually has all the screw holes for the back plate. They just didn't put a back plate on it. So that's the difference on the 570 from an appearance standpoint. And of course, the Vega that we're going to be getting is, I'm hoping that it's actually the nicer, like, custom shroud one, not just the plastic one. I mean, the money that we spent on it, I'm hoping that it's the shroud one, but we'll see. It was a generalized SKU number and everything. It was like just RX Vega 64, and it was like $700. So I mean, it could be the water. Who knows? The water cooled one might show up. I don't know. I'll be surprised if it is, and I'll be super happy because then I didn't have to buy everything else with it. But we will try it out. And obviously we don't have access to the RX Vega 56 yet. So this thing's got to set up. I'm reading through your guys' comments right now. The 64 LM packages are all sold out too. Everything is sold out. on it. We went over to Micro Center. We had one of the BBT guys went over to Micro Center. He was the 5th person in the line, and the first 4 people got the Vega. Micro Center only received 4. I don't understand. That's one of the I don't know if it was a complaint, but I mean, if you're gonna launch, when we were there for the RX480 launch, there were 60, 70 GPUs there. That's a proper launch. And there was probably 30 people in line for them because they were $250. It was a good deal. It was a good launch for AMD, but I don't know what's the deal with the launch that they just did, where you had a super limited quantity. Kyle Pitt, the Asus Strict ROG 488 gig, I believe, was a custom strap that was created. I don't know who actually created it. It was not us that created it. We tested all kinds of different BIOSes. We tried to create our own BIOS, and we found a custom strap for it. In the notepad that we have, I have the source from it. Alright, this thing looks like it's up. So this is the Hynix memory for the 570. The RX570. We're going to put this at 1980. If I can type it. 1980. Leave that at 1100. I'm going to minimize this. We're going to launch that. We're going to play Silicon Lottery and see if that holds that. $1980s is no bueno. That's pretty. Might be 1900 on this one. Always start with 1980 on any RX 570 to see if it's stable. And I work my way down. So we're going to go with 1950 and see if that's stable. And then if that doesn't work, we'll do 1900. Again, when we do our testing on the BIOSes and stuff, we do it with a card of the series. We have several of the other cards. We usually deploy to 1 or 2 other cards. We'll test those. If they're all checked, then that's a good BIOS. But I picked from the random litter for this, and that's part of it. I mean, part of this is, as you know, like I always like when stuff kind of has an issue, because I like working through it with you guys. That's the only way all of us learn together. I don't mind trying to do the troubleshooting. I don't know why I can't reach hold pull. Hold pull support. There it goes. Connected. Nope, does not like that setting. Boom goes the dynamite. Either a reboot or a driver recovery. 1950, no bueno. Might pull a different card. Might have another XFX situation. It's funny with the 570s that you get that. BBT or Bitcoin, is it? What's the price of Bitcoin right now? Seeing some news alerts. It's back below 4,000. That's 400 or 4,400 or 4,044 rather. That's called profit taking. We'll do 1900 on this one, and if it gets flaky on me on this one, then I'm going to pull another one out and see if it's fine. And it might be just this card doesn't like that setting, and that's fine. It happens, and this is why I'm glad that the random sample's given us some consistency. Because if you were to download this and you're like, oh shit, I saw it working on his stream, but it's not working for me. I'm glad that it's not working for me on this random card that I picked out of that box that has the BIOS pushed to it, because this is a real possibility sometimes with some of the BIOSes, and you just got to work through it. And that is not very good. Check something here. Yeah, I think this card is just flaky, because I reset it back to default and it's just meh, which is fine. I mean, we literally took this out of the box and dropped the BIOS on it, and it just not working. So what I would do in this case, I'd put this card back on its base BIOS setting, and I would work a different BIOS stop for it, one that wasn't as aggressive as the timings that we put on this one, and try to get it to at least 27. To where that card is stable. So we got that one pushed over. That's a gamer card. I mean, it could be gaming. I mean, so more than likely, guys, the card's okay. The memory's okay. It's the timings that we have on it. A way to check that is to drop it back to stock, see if it's stable at like a basic overclock of like 1850. If it is and it's fine stock with an 1850 overclock, the memory can handle it. If you take a card to base and then you barely overclock it and it's still unstable, then that's a card that goes bye-bye. Try basic 1900 on this one. And let's see if this one's stable. Mm, 26. 25. Did not like being shut down. Could have a couple in a row. I mean, the test card that we used was fine with the BIOS, but what I'd say is probably I'm not going to put this BIOS out. Is because while it was good on one card, it looks like it's not good on multiple others. And that might be a back to the drawing board situation. I have one unicorn in the group. And then the base backup card worked fine. Again, we have 8 of these cards, so I'm just curious. Because usually I do 1950. Not dual line. Let's try that. Yeah, it doesn't like 1950. Didn't blow up, but didn't like it. 1875. Again, these are Hynix. Yeah, not real strong. I think we gotta go back to the drawing board on this one. I mean, that's the base rate. This might not have a BIOS, actually. Let's do this. On there. SI, gaming, X10 Pros, or 4J. That's it. Let's see if this already says it's on there. It's already installed, okay. It's the 1500 straps, the custom straps right there. And it's 15 up through 2000. 1750 base. And then these are obviously modified. Alright, so we're gonna have to go back to that one. So we're gonna revisit this one in a full rig once I get another good BIOS on it. Because the BIOS on it right now is not as optimized as we would like it to be. It needs to be stable and it needs to be consistent across multiple cards, and we just went to a second card that it's not consistent on. So this one is back to the drawing board. And this is where that's these. So even if I did find the one that we did, it would do you no justice because I do not want to put you guys in a bad spot. I want to make sure that it's consistent. That's why I'm trying to take the random sample test, is that it needs to work randomly to have consistency. And then you got your long-term test, which is like your overnight test of it working and all that, and staying stable. So what we're doing right now is we're down to a couple more, guys. We got a couple more, and then we'll wrap this stream up. Probably we'll be right at 3 hours, but I'm gonna try to go through it quickly. So this is the strict. We've done these before. Overclock, 5 RX570s, 4 gig, ASUS Strict Edition. So got some other plastic on it. This does not have a back plate like most of the 570s. And I'm going to get this on. I'll look at your guys' questions as this is booting up. Someone grab Carter a drink. Yeah, no doubt. I haven't had a drink since I've been up. Miss BBT's been busy watching kids tonight. I'm kind of rolling solo, guys. Slim pickings. Get this thing booted up. Seems down tonight. Why do I see down? I'm not down. No, Vega. Like the new look. Vegas tomorrow. No, I don't have any. I have one Sapphire rig left. cheap Dells, and so I'm reading Omega. There seems to be a lot of downtime with the AMD BIOS tweaks. Recommend buying cheap eBay sells and tweaking multiple cards at the same time. I mean, yeah, some of these are actually a couple of these that I had to get that were eBay deals. Just because we needed to finish out some rigs. Because when we order them, sometimes they only have like 4, and I need to, you know, I want to complete a rig, so I have to buy them where we can. We don't have too many sapphires. What's the temp in the room? What is the temp in the room in here right now? I usually have a meter around here somewhere. It's probably about 60 or 72 degrees in here right now. 72 Fahrenheit. I'm just running the patcher to assign the driver, since these are modded cards. And we mod these usually in a different box. I can mod them in this one, but what's the final impression of Threadripper? The Threadripper's a boss. It's a beast, man. When we put the Vega, I'm probably going to use the Threadripper box when I grab the Vega, since we're only going to have one. I'm not going to throw it in a rig. I'll probably throw it in the production box, and we'll set it up on there. We'll be posting the BIOSes, guys, besides the MSI 570, because I think I still got some work to do on that. Alright, this thing should be up. Let's swap it. So this one is one that should be already set and you don't mess with, I believe. Let me look. Yeah, you don't touch this. And this BIOS on this card, you launch and go. So we're dealing with the strict RX570 4 gig. Start with pull. What is not going on here? I'm getting artifacts with that one. Wonder if I actually broke the driver, or it's corrupted. Where is? Does this one got the X on it? This might be the. This might be a bad one. We have 14 of these, and I think we did find one that was not right, and I think I grabbed that one. This one goes back. This one, even with no BIOS on it, was actually artifacting. We're gonna try that one. Again, when you guys are putting the BIOSes on your cards, and if you have 6 cards, you should put a BIOS on it, test it, let it run for a little bit, move on to the next card. If it immediately starts artifacting and stuff, pull the BIOS off of it. And try a different series of BIOS. Like for this 570, for this strict edition, there's a couple sites that have multiple BIOSes for this card. One of them is I think it's Anotech, Nortech, and he has like I think 3 separate good BIOSes for this card. They're not as aggressive as the settings we have on this one, but they will get you around 27 megahash at a pretty decent power rating, and it works pretty much out of the box. This BIOS that we're using is pushing the memory all the way to 2000, which is an aggressive setting. Right here, you'll see that. To where, I mean, the base stock on this is 1750. Normally you'd run this at 1950, 1900. Yeah, that other one was out of the 14. This was the one that was meh. That we have to pull the BIOS off on this, and we tagged the box to make sure I did that, and that's the one I put over there. So I need to pull the BIOS off of this one and put a less aggressive setting on it, because that card does not work like this one does. As you can see, that 28.4 is what it should be getting if it was holding upright. Anorak, that's it. A-N-O-R-A-K. So look at that, 28.5. So we will put this BIOS up there because it is working for our other cards. But understand that, again, this is actually, I'm glad that I showed you guys this one. So same card, but it did not like that setting. So you may have some, if you have this card and you run into that issue, you got to use a less aggressive BIOS. But for the cards that do work, and this is why it's important to push the BIOSes kind of singular to the card. Because if you get one that's a unicorn, to where it's stable at 28 and still running, no problems, 28.5, you want that card running at 28.5. Don't push a shitty BIOS to all your cards if you got one card that's giving you hell. It is worth your time and your money, if you've made the investment for this stuff, to make sure that the BIOSes that are optimized for the cards can work on the cards, and then use those BIOSes. So again, RX570, 28.4, that is spectacular for this card. You can see power settings holding 175 watts. This is so far the least power usage too that we've seen. It's pretty close. 95 watts on the power draw there, but pretty damn close. So we're going to close that out. Try 5. Yeah, if you guys follow us on Twitter, you'll see the second that thing shows up, I'm going to start tweeting it. But we are going to go through this journey together tomorrow. So here's the look at that beast. I don't even want to mess with that Decred. It started getting 26.3 and almost 800 Decred. RX570 Strix. Like a boss. You take down these settings a little bit. Let's take it down to like 27. See what we get. Almost 27 megahertz. Let's take it down a couple more ticks. Tickling 27 and 600 megahertz, and that's on Ethereum. Let's check Decred with. Let's do Ubiq. Ubiq and Decred, 34. Yeah, David Valex, we use the Overmix. We use some of the custom straps. We just don't do copying of straps. We go look for, did it just go no bueno after shutting that down? Let's see. Let's reboot this. Sometimes shutting down that multi-miner, I think I don't have the right stops. I make it just meh. Yeah, Evan, that's the way you do it, man. There's a lot of time involved in trying to find the right kind of straps that are working well and are stable. I mean, sometimes it's nice when, you know, like the forums post it and people that have worked successes. That's what we're trying to do here, is showing you kind of what's worked for us. But if you're going to try to dredge new ground, you know, it is worth it. $45. It's a Miss BBT showing. We're probably a half hour from being wrapped up, if that. I got 2 more cards and we're going to blaze through them. There's some Saya. $550 and 22 is not too bad for Saya. Saya's not super efficient with it. Power usage still under 200. This is a super efficient card. I know you guys laugh at me every time I do Monero, but I just like it from a benchmark standpoint. It is not necessarily efficient, and you're not going to make money doing it right now unless you're just doing CPU mining and you have a whole bunch of CPUs. But from a benchmark standpoint, it is still nice. Now you're getting lots of howdy Miss BBTs.
Hi.
Oh, you gotta say a lot louder than that. Hello, everybody. Whatever.
Oh. I won't get in the chat.
There's the 5. That's not bad. Almost 700 hashes for Monero. What's the power usage on Monero? 147. So it's 90 watts. It's using 90 watts of power to push Monero. Zcash, this is going to be a little low because the GPU clock's down. Maybe on our next, after the Vega, oh, I did not like that one by itself. Maybe after that might be just jumping around between the different algorithms with it. I mean, this is a pretty aggressive overclock. I mean, we were only mining, I think, Ubiq with this right now, and we did mine over the weekend music coin for a little bit. I wanted to get some of that to store and hold on to. John McClain, nice name, bro. Are they AMD cards? Let's check. Did it die on Zcash earlier? I think it did. That BIOS is not optimized for Zcash. The GPU is down, memory's way up. I'd take the memory down some, and then I'd have the GPU way up if I was doing Zcash. But it's probably right around 300 hashes if you ever want to know. Like most of the others. I think we did all of them. I think we're done with this card. What's the basic ETH? Let's do that. Devil's 11, where can you get the multi-miner? You can get the multi-miner from some, I'll put it in the description of this video, but if you go back to the previous videos, anywhere on Bitsby Trippin', you'll see it. It's at the bottom in the descriptions. And, you know, here's a PSA. If you guys are using the multi-miner, I've seen some people that have been using it and they have not been changing their addresses. You have to edit the BAT file, use Notepad++, edit it, and put your actual Ethereum address, put your actual different coin addresses in there. Because if not, you're mining for me. And I've seen some people that's left it on for like a day, and I've got into 100 mega hash. I thank you for your contribution, but I imagine that you're doing that as a mistake. So you got to edit it. I'll try to put it again on the description. So there's ETH with these cards, just under 27 with ETH. And again, for anybody that missed it, here we'll do music coin. This BIOS rocks in at a cool 28.3, 28.5 on other Ethereum coins. So, not bad. Again, you may get some like the first shot that we did. Oh, Dells, dropping in the first super chat of the night. Those things are foreign. I don't see too many of those anymore. When profits are down, and mining is in a lull, everybody's affected, including our super chats. It's okay though. We appreciate it. It's every time, same time this year, or every year in crypto. If you were to overlay each year, you would see August and September are horrible for prices. They've always been that way. It's the draw of the summer, the drawdown of the summer.
It's too hot.
It's too hot. People ain't worried about making money when it comes to they're doing a lot of trading and all that. Here, I'm gonna put those over here. Get those, and let's get into. We're through these. The Aorus. We're through this one. Again, tomorrow's gonna be the RX Vega, and we're gonna do this 12 GPU rig back here, which is these. We're gonna have 12 of these guys on the ASRock 13 GPU board. I don't have a 13th, otherwise we would have a 13 on there. That case actually is a special design. It's the same kind of mining rigs that we always have, but it's actually been designed out for 13 cards. 6 on one side, 7 on the other. It's got the right measurements to make everything fit right, and that's kind of a brown case. I want to show you guys how we painted that. It's pretty cool. So this is 588 gig XFX with our special super sauce BIOS, which this is a custom strap. Again, this is a random pick of the litter, and I have probably 25 of these sitting over there right now. So the one that I tested and that it worked with, let's just hope it works with this one. It should. These ones are pretty consistent. Now this is the GTS series, the XXX GTS. They make like three different kinds of these. They make the GTS version like this. Overclocks. They make the Crimson edition, and then they make the black edition, which are a little longer. They're tri-fan designs. These are dual fan designs. Kind of like black carbon look to them. And we're going to boot this guy up. We got this one. I got one more, guys, that we're going to go through. Then we're done for the night. You guys can ask me questions while this thing's rolling up. What's this? Digital gold? The eGPU support, yeah. So I don't have the Alienware box that plugs into that. I've had no reason to get it, but yeah, this is the bad boy here. This is the best one they make. This is the i7 7th gen. We did a review in this a while back. Yeah, digital gold. What's up, bro? I gotta remember next time I'm coming out your area. Yeah, for those folks that don't know, that I met with Digital Gold about a month ago, I think. We went out and ate some food out there in their area. I was in the DC area, so we had to meet up. This thing has to get plugged back in. Sometimes my stream, it shows the stream, but it doesn't show it on my. It's part of the problem with having such long extensions on the like you guys see it, but I don't see it right now on this back. It has to like figure its life out. There it goes. All right. Can you please use a power tool and freak people out? There's no power tools tonight, Frank. We're going to be doing, there'll be some power tools tomorrow. Installing a Vega, freaking people out. Alright, so let's do GPU Z. Let's bring this guy up. So this is Hynix memory. Let's do 2150, I believe, on this one. And wrong multi-miner. Let's do some, let's look at the sensors on this guy. Let's go ahead and start with Ubiq first. Again, this is the 588 gig. Woo! This thing's a-blazing. Little bit of power usage on this one. About 175 TDP, almost 200. Well, it's about actually 200, 195, something like that. 30.5. Let's see. Do you think we have some more headroom here? I think we do. 21. Let's just give it the beans. 22. You can do it. You can do it. Oh, you guys can't see that. I haven't switched. Fail. Whew. Thing's a beast. Yeah, you guys will like this. You guys will like this BIOS. And these are actually some of the cheaper cards out there too. I mean, relatively speaking, the 588 gigs. $31.8. All right, so let's see what that does with some ETH and SIA. Pretty consistent with the other cards. Go down to intensity 22 there. Actually, let's go to 21. I like setting at 21 on Siacoin. $27,500. Not too bad. Try some Ethan Decred. Digital Gold, you do your stream in the day because I got the RX Vega and the early afternoon or late afternoon, 4 p.m. Hank with the big 25. Yeah, we'll put the rate in there. The Cred's like a boss. Look at that speed. $25, $26. There you go. 26. So 26 looks like it's at 28 and 700 to cred. Hank, which one are you looking for? Type in chat which rate you're looking for. You looking for Ubiq? Are looking at the settings. Let's check some Zcash with this one. Oh, the rate card. Hank wants the rate card. What do we do with that rate card? I toss it? The thing that used to say our hourly rates.
Oh, I had no idea.
When we were moving stuff around, what happened to it? I took it down. I don't think I would have tossed that.
I don't think so. I don't know what happened to it.
Yeah, it's where the NASA's hat's at right now.
Did you break it?
I might have broke it off on accident. It was very brittle.
It was old.
Yeah. There is Zcash performance on this card, guys. I'll do some looking for it, Hank. I think we took it down. We were moving some stuff around. I didn't want it to get broken in half. What's the question they're asking about? Removing Windows Update? Windows Update, guys, you just services. You type services there. You go in here. And you go right down here. To Windows Update, you double click it, you tell this to disable, and you apply that. And then you go here, let's go in and let's check. Let's just toy with you guys and do Monero. Alex Thomas, you wish you guys could make a customized Windows USB installer with all the settings and drivers deployed during an install. I'd watch that video too. The problem with that, Alex, though, is that you have to like buy Windows. I mean, you can get Windows to Go, and maybe I can look into doing that with Windows to Go, which is a USB version of it. But there's some license implications with that. Look, I gotta make sure that you guys are doing it the right way, have licensing and stuff. 737. I tell you what, that Strix Trifan Strix 480 still holds the key on the Monero with the 866. So this thing's doing 737 on Monero. Try just library because it won't work. Just Siacoin. I think they giving me shit for saying legal. You guys can make your other decisions you want, but if I'm showing you guys how to do stuff, I got to make sure I'm doing it within the legal ramifications or there's legal ramifications if I don't. So I have to show you guys, what you guys, everything I try to show you in there that's not going to get you in trouble. I mean, if you use Windows 7 or Windows 10 and don't register it and just use it and just leave it to where it's not activated, the problem is that you won't get, you have a potential of not getting certain updates and then having issues. But I think a Windows to Go is a little different licensing structure. Let me write that down. I think the Windows to Go you might be able to use without all of the, like a full Windows license and spend a lot of money for it. Let me look here. Windows to Go. USB stick. I'll look into that and see from a licensing standpoint. Hey, so this looks like about the same as the rest of them on just SIA directly. Almost 1,000 mega hash. And I think that was it. I don't know if I had Stig set up right on this. I didn't try this on any of the other ones, but I had the SG miner set up right on it. I know that it goes and creates actually creates a bin file that it references. You'll see that when you launch 50, it'll dump a bin file here when it's done doing this piece. There it is, right there. Skunk hash. Oh my god, it did it for the Intel? What the hell? Yeah, definitely don't use the built-in Intel processor. So I think I need to work on this, the Signatum miner, because that's not working right, obviously. I don't think anybody's mining chain coin anymore. Might pull that out. Let me know if you guys want me to pull that out. I don't think anybody's really mining that. I don't think that works anyways. I think that was it. I mean, I didn't do any other. So 31 mega hash on, I'll do music coin real quick, and then we'll close this one out, and then we'll get the last one in there, and we'll do that one really quick. We're not going to go through an extensive like we just did this one with. It's pretty much the same card. It's the 4 gig version. I just want to show you the basic tops on it. You say no, leave change coin. Yeah, 31 mega hash. Yeah, these are great cards, man. If you guys can find them. No, not chain coin. No, leave chain coin. All right. Well, this is definitely the special sauce BIOS for sure. The best one of the night. Who would have thunk it? XFX. All right, shut this down. Let's try the 4 gig version of this, and then we're gonna call it. So that is this guy right here. It's got the back plate on it. And just make sure you guys know which one it is. We're going to do this little number. That's where you guys can kind of see. What? What's that noise? Here you guys go. There is the version that that card was. So you have the exact right version that we're talking. Including you guys are going to spoof my serial number and probably do bad things with it. All right. Here is the 584 gig. Yeah, and if somebody wants to do some timestamps on this video, maybe you do that and leave like your Dogecoin address, and maybe I'll send you some Doge. I'm gonna troll you guys and see if you guys actually do. Somebody will actually do that. Somebody actually takes the time to do timestamps with each of the cards. That would be just ridiculous. Maybe it's a good way for somebody to earn some Doge. All right, 4 gig version. There is a... Yeah, let's see here. Let's get this up first. I'm going to say there's another series of cards I'm going to be working this week. This other blue box that's in the back, you guys can kind of see, is some newer 3 gig 1060s. They're the Gigabytes. And we're going to be doing some testing with that too. So I'm going to have a 6-card rig of that. That's with the Carbon, the Gaming Pro Carbon. I'm going to do the Z170 Gaming Carbon review. Yeah, Dogecoin. Everybody should have some Doge. Doge is one of those things that's going to go down in like history of like internet cryptocurrency, like perma meme. Like it's going to have history forever. So everybody should own a little Doge. I'd really like to see it get like replace some like like bot tipping thing. Maybe I can talk to some of the boys over at the Discord channel and see if we can like build a Doge tip bot or something. The problem with all those things is like when you start actually giving away like cryptocurrency like on a scale, it's like you're like a financial entity. I mean, it's reboot this thing. I don't think that card is all the way in. So like you got to be careful. There's a lot of weird legality stuff with that too. If you do it regularly, like it's just complex. Jeff Mass. I just emailed the memory types of my cards with a BIOS request. I also picked a few other cards. I'm not sure if you have a BIOS for those, but I threw them in the email just in case. Thanks, Jeff Mass. I will take a look at it, buddy, and we'll get them dialed in for you. Like a boss with the 50 spot at the end. Dropping the big hammer. Some people sleeping on the side. We will take a look at that. We do take a look at any of those BIOSes you guys send us. And just if it's a card that we don't have, we'll just ask you for the actual BIOS. So you'll have to actually drop the BIOS on it, and then we'll take a look at it and see and work with you guys to try to see if we can get a good establishment of that BIOS. We just ask if any of the BIOSes that we send you guys give us feedback back that it's working and what it's doing. That way we can kind of put it in our repository. That way we have for other people to share. But we will do. We appreciate that super chat. Now this one will not go to 2200, but we will go to the 1980 on this. Again, this is the 580. So you notice the difference. So the same exact GTS. One's an 8 gig, one's a 4 gig. Both the same shroud. It actually looks exactly like the same card. But you can tell from the memory right here, this is Alpida, the other one's Hynix. So the 8 gig card is Hynix memory. This one's Alpida. Or Adelphi. Or no, it's Alpida. So we're going to set the settings to 1980 on this one. This again is the last card. Let's do this real quick. Try at 33 with 1980. I always start with 1980 on these cards. It's kind of the upper echelon. Sometimes you can get 2000 out of them, but I've had a lot of success with 1980. And there you go, 29.3. And I did not switch it back so you guys could see that. $29.4. So again, that's on Ubiq. We're going to go with number 3. We're going to now go straight to Ethereum, which again doesn't have the DAG fix, so this is going to just pick up Ethereum at its best rate with Epoch 138. You can always tell the Epoch level. If you hit S, it'll show your Epoch level here. So we're on Epoch 138, and the DAG file is 2.08 gigabytes on Ethereum right now. Still doing pretty good on Ethereum, 28.7. Still almost knocking 29 down. Let's try some dual mining real quick. Let's do 4, which should be Siacoin. Again, most of these have been like 23, 22 with about 600. About that. 23 at 700. Let's take this down about 24 intensity. 26.1 with 600. Take it down a couple more notches. Let's take it down. 22. Need some drawing effect here, but 27.2 at 600. That is perfect. More than enough. Good speed out of the card on Ethereum and Siacoin. A little cliche, but it looks like we've saved the best for last here on the last 2 cards. Yeah, and you guys ask questions. I'm seeing some of the chat that you guys are appreciating some of the live stream stuff. I mean, you ask specific questions, I'll try to give you specific answers. Look at that, the Crdt sickness. Oh, don't worry about the red there. That's because I don't have it set up right. But 27.9 and 830. Holy crap, this thing's cooking. This is actually the best. Oh, I like the intensity at 29. 28 at 813. That's about as good as it gets right now. Whew, if I go up to 33, it drops down from 28, but you get a lot more to cred. 911. $35. Whew. So you can drop it down to, or drop it up to 39 and get 1,000 to cred and 25 ETH. I am curious to see what, like, something like Music Coin and to cred. Let's do 46 because then we won't have the DAG hit. Let's try 39. That's going to be about the same then, okay. 26, 26.4 and 1,000 to cred. Let's go down one level. 26.5, 1,000. To 33. 28.5 and almost 1,000 to cred. Not bad at all. Yeah, so these cards in this BIOS, guys, if you guys can find them and pluck some off eBay if somebody's getting out of them. You see the you see the memory type here. try a couple more, and then we'll do 5 minutes of direct questions, and if not, so start thinking of your questions. I'll try to get to any other super chats if I missed any. Oh, I think I had a pool set up wrong on that one. Library. Let's do 6. Library and ETH. $36 and $25, not bad. Let's try 22. $30 and $25. $38 and 24.9. I mean, 38 and 24.9 get you a little more library coins. Higher intensity there. Try side directly, and then we'll wrap this up. Thousand mega hash, not too bad. That's up there almost with the RX, or the we'll end on your guys' favorite XMR. So 1000 mega hash, it's one of the higher ones there, next to the RX480 Strix, which were 1088. And let's do one last. Oh yeah, we did this earlier. We should do it on this one. So here's Zcash. The other one was 334. Let's see if there's any change. Whew. 347, so it's actually faster than the 8 gig. 350. It's a little faster than the 8 gig model. So the memory combination with all the Alpida and the core clock is actually having a faster than the Hynix by about 4 or 5 sols. And then now the last but not least, which is the Monero. 2016 rather. You got to give credit to this machine, though, being a boss, running through that many GPUs through it and not giving us too much trouble. Holy hell, look at that. 848. It's almost 150 more hashes than all the other chips. And that was it, boys. Let's shut it down. Swap that back. So, I think we're answering any of the questions. Does anybody have any questions before we wrap up the stream tonight? Bitcoin looks like it's retracting a little bit. People are taking a little bit of profit. Again, it's the summer burn where a lot of the alt currencies start to kind of retract. This happens usually every year this time. If you look at year over year, the next real big push, to be honest with you, if it's any indicator of all the rest of the years, November is when it starts to lift. At least it did for 2 years between 2012 to 2014. It took a lift in November. The alt currency side in 2015 and 2016 it stayed stagnant, and then it took a heavy lift after the new year. So if this is any time right now, is to see if Bitcoin after SegWit kicks in, if it takes the lift, it bounces and goes back up to 4,500 to $5,000. The alts are, I mean, it's just if history's any indicator, alts are going to continue to compress down some. You know, it's all going to come down to the only other thing that changes things compared to the last like 5 years is there's a lot of innovation going on right now, and there's all the stuff with the consolidation of Ethereum into other alt currencies or the ICOs, as people are buying Ethereum and then trading it over to the ICOs. So we'll see, you know, some of these partnerships, if some of the consortiums right now that are building their dApps, which if you guys haven't paid attention out there, the you know, again, the XFX GTS Black Core Edition, yes, that was the 4 gig. Yes, that's the Core Edition. To answer that question, the dApps development tool sets just got expanded with Microsoft doing the Coco, I think it's COCO, which is just a toolkit essentially to allow developers to write another, you know, more higher level software development languages. At the end of the day, it's just going to allow for more development in dApps in general, which is a good thing. I mean, people are like, oh, it's Microsoft taking a play into Azure and all this other stuff. You know, at the end of the day, the more people that can write apps for these cryptocurrencies, the better for the community in general, because now you're gonna have major applications starting to look at, you know, not just private chains. They're gonna be looking at the you know, the public chain side of it, not just syndicated. After we do the RX Vega, tomorrow we're gonna do the 12 GPU rig and the RX Vega tomorrow. Then I'm gonna do the Carbon. The Z170A Gaming Pro Carbon. We're going to do that with this 6 card setup here, which is the 3 gig Gigabyte cards, 1060s. So that's going to be optimized for that. We're going to have that on, I think, 850 watt power supply. Hopefully get it down to like 600, 700 watts at max, if not less. But after those two things are done, into the weekend, we may have another whiteboard session, and we'll talk application development and dApp creation, if that's something of interest to you guys. It's kind of it's a divergence from some of the mining scene, but I've had a lot of people ask me, you know, to kind of expand on some of the whiteboard series and get more mechanical on explaining on how, like, the decentralized applications, how they kind of function, and then how does it play into the fact in a public chain, if people are going to actually deploy to a public chain, how that would work mechanically with, like, buying Ethereum or buying any of the other currencies to run something like we can maybe pick like Golem as a use case if and when they actually deploy an application that allows people to use kind of global supercomputing. How would that actually run on the Ethereum virtual machine? If that's interesting, you guys, that's something I could cover. But it kind of gives you guys perspective. I mean, it's kind of off the mining thing, but it kind of gives you guys perspective of how, like, the EVM would run, you know, on that platform, and that just gives it value added for everybody. It's good to know if you're talking to people that it's just not about proof of work for what we're doing, but like what that piece is going through. So and we'll see how that goes. If that goes okay, then maybe that can get into another series, you know, of things that we can do. It's just getting kind of out of the mining a little bit. But and then, you know, if there's other things that you guys want to see, you know, just let me know in the comments of like, hey, you know, and follow us on Steemit. I'm going to make a few Steemit posts out there and some polls and see some other content that you guys really want. I mean, because, I mean, there's a lot of stuff going on. I'm trying to get a lot of this kind of stuff. That's why I hadn't had a video in a few days. And I try to correlate a whole bunch of the stuff that we got going on into one. But if there is, you know, some subject matter that you guys want to see, just, you know, make a post out there on one of our Steemit posts. We'll link it down in the description when we post that out to Steemit, and we'll see if we can get some activity on there and get some interest in some other categories. Yes, I said Steemit. Steam it. There it goes. Miss BBT saying it. All right. So I'm looking to see if there's any more questions. I didn't answer all the super chats. We had some pretty awesome super chats tonight. Hank and Jeff like a boss. We need a BBT convention. Oh yeah, we need a mining convention. I think if we pick the right kind of area, there could be some interest that could be developed from a mining convention. Live long and prosper. All right, guys, we're going to wrap it up. And we will catch you tomorrow. Get on Twitter. Follow us on Twitter. Make a fake account. I don't care. Get on Twitter. Follow us on Twitter, and you'll see when that Vega shows up, I'm going to start tweeting it. So you guys will see kind of when it shows up. You'll see we try to post out our schedules and times out there and stuff. And we'll get that out to you guys tomorrow. Again, it's going to be, we just got a random super chat at the end. Race Christian like a boss. We're going to I'm going to open that RX Vega in front of you guys. We're going to do it together. We're going to take that journey together. I like taking the journeys with you guys when we're going through it. So, we'll have to keep talking about that mining convention. I like that idea. And we'll catch you guys tomorrow. We'll do this Vega thing together. And we'll do a 12 GPU mining rig. Stay tuned.